Hi friends! Today I'm back with a new very interesting topic about our body. And this system for our today's video is the respiratory system. As you can see here, I also have a huge demonstration and some parts of it. I'll also explain a little bit on how it works, but I'm not very sure yet. But I know a few parts of it, like how it exhales and inhaling works. But yeah, mostly I'll be focusing on the parts of it. So let's start with our first one, which is the nasal cavity, which is basically the entrance into your nose. The nasal cavity is full of cilia, which are the tiny hairs in your nose that help make it a bit warm and humid, because you don't want to just breathe air itself without it being a little humid. And it also contains mucus, which sometimes people call it boogers, but they also have a very special role in the respiratory system. It traps dust and dirt or other foreign, different sort of things inside the body, which you don't usually find in there. So yeah, it traps those stuff. Next, we go to the nostril, which is the entering to the nasal cavity, which are these two holes to your nose, as you can see, which is pretty easy. As we move on, we see the epiglottis. It has a very important function in our respiratory system. It actually helps food not enter the lungs, because the pharynx or the throat is also a part of the digestive system, since that's where food goes down. The epiglottis helps food get separated and go different ways. So yeah, that's about it. Now, as I already told you, the pharynx is the throat, which is also really important for the digestive and the respiratory system. It also connects to the mouth too, that's where you get your food from. Next is the larynx. The larynx is pretty similar to the pharynx, but they are actually both two different things. The larynx is actually the voice box, which includes vocal cords. And did you know that men and women have different vocal cords? That's right. Men have longer vocal cords that make deeper sound waves, and that's why resulting men have deeper voices. But for women, it's not really the same, and that results in higher voices. So yeah, now you know about the larynx. As we go deeper into our respiratory system, we enter the trachea, which is basically the entrance to your lungs, where the air goes down in, and the lungs are really important, so I'll get to that next. Now we enter the lungs, which, as you can see here, these are our two lungs which we use to breathe. Here's a little fun fact about lungs. Did you know that the left lung is slightly smaller than the right lung? I know, it's really interesting, isn't it? But I have the reason why it is like that. Well, basically, the heart is pretty much right here, a bit next to the left lung. So that's why the left lung kind of shrinked a bit, so the heart has some space. And yeah, it still works just fine, so I don't mind. There's also little things called bronchi in the lungs, which are like sac-like things which make the air moist and stuff, which sort of works like the cilia, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The right lung and the left lung right here. Oh, by the way, a little fun fact, the ribs protect your lungs and heart, because a lung injury can be very, very serious, while a rib injury, well, you can heal pretty much just fine. The lungs are a vital organ inside your body, so that's why God has created a rib cage just for us to protect our heart and lungs from very serious injuries. So yeah. Now I'll be talking about the diaphragm, which is also really an important organ in our system. The diaphragm expands and shrinks when you breathe in and breathe out. Yeah, that's why your chest goes a bit small. That's your diaphragm deflating. No, inflating with air. As you breathe in, your diaphragm gets a bit smaller, but as you exhale, your diaphragm goes back to normal. same thing goes for your lungs. And so that's the respiratory parts for you. Now I'll be explaining how it functions and stuff. I'm not a very great expert at explaining this since I've mostly focused on the parts, but I have some idea on how it works. So let me tell you. So air enters your nostrils and then through your nasal cavity where the mucus and cilia is there to help protect your nose. That's why you shouldn't really be plucking out your mucus out because it's sometimes really helpful, you know. So as it enters the nasal cavity, it heads to the pharynx or the throat. Then it goes down your trachea and then goes into your lungs, where that's when you breathe in, and then the lungs start to inflate with air a bit. There's something called your lung capacity. People's lung capacity can be different from others. If you're a swimmer, your lung capacity is probably larger, you know. You can hold up maybe 6 liters of air. I'm not super sure, you know. But the lung capacity is much stronger for swimmers or other people who do physical activities because their lungs are trained to hold in even more air and maybe even hold it for much longer. So yeah, that's your lung capacity for you. Sorry, that was a pretty random fact. But as you continue, your diaphragm also inflates with air as well, including your lungs. So that's when you inhale. Now let's work it as you exhale. So the air pushes up into your trachea, then to your larynx through your voice box, and back to your nose as you exhale. As an example. So yeah, that's pretty much the respiratory system for you. It's a really important system, and there are so many more systems. Like I've made systems about the digestive system, the circulatory system, the urinary system, and now the respiratory system. And there's pretty much many more topics that I will cover soon. And this is one of my favorites.
Gas exchange.
Gas exchange.
Oxygen, carbon dioxide.
Oh yeah. Okay. So did you know that when you breathe in, some of the air that you breathe in is not fully oxygen? That's right. Some of you breathe in around 80% oxygen, 20% carbon dioxide, and a bit of nitrogen and other chemicals in the air. And then as you breathe in, I have an idea. I have something I forgot to tell you. The air you breathe in goes to the heart, and it's given to your blood, and the circulatory system distributes that oxygenated blood throughout your body. Yeah, that's what I forgot. This respiratory system is also very crucial for the circulatory system as well. Yeah, because the oxygen goes to the heart, to your blood, and it's distributed all throughout your body. The oxygen from the air you breathe is also very crucial for your brain as well, because your brain and many other cells in your body need that oxygen that you breathe in. There's also something called, now let's go to another topic. There's also something called voluntary breathing and involuntary breathing. Voluntary breathing is when you're thinking about breathing for a few times and you're controlling your breathing, you know? That's what opera singers and other people do sometimes. And involuntary breathing is something that helps you stay alive. Because breathing, that without breathing you'd probably be dead by now, right? Well, yeah, there's something in your brain, that's some sort of function that helps you breathe without you even thinking about it. Can you imagine thinking every time you breathe? It would be such a really hard job. So yeah, thank your brain for involuntary breathing. Yeah.
Diseases.
Oh, there's also a few sort of lung diseases that I haven't really covered yet. I haven't really researched on it, but I know a few. There's asthma, where you where you can't really breathe properly and you get in pretty much less air, and it's really hard for people with asthma because because their lung capacity isn't really good, and they have to use a special device called an inhaler to help them breathe properly. So yeah, so if you have healthy lungs, then be grateful for it. There's also something called pneumonia, I think. Yeah, which is like an infection in your lungs that makes it very difficult for you to breathe, and it's pretty deadly. Yeah, pneumonia kills a lot of people every year, and yeah, that's why you shouldn't breathe in like dirty areas like car gases or something. Polluted air. Yeah, you shouldn't breathe polluted air, and take care of your lungs all the time. Wear a mask. Oh yeah, and also smoking is a really plays a huge thing into getting pneumonia, because smoking has chemicals in it which is not good for your lungs at all, and your lungs are pretty much suffering. And there's also lung cancer, which is also caused by pollution and smoking. So that's why if you live in an area with a lot of trees, be grateful, because those trees give out oxygen, which are good for your lungs this time. And let's hope that your lungs are happy and healthy. And make sure to breathe good air. Breathe good air. So that's it for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye!